Welcome back to Aurelius Whitlock's Murder Museum. I'm Marcus Richardson.
And I'm Nathan Hicken.
And last episode, in part 1 of the VHS exhibit, Nathan found himself sucked into the dystopian world of Vander Hughes Systems, a dingy factory populated entirely by automatons. And he was tasked with solving the murder of the automaton Heinlen. So he investigated the body, found a corporate override inside the robot, and unwittingly killed another robot in an attempt to understand what the tape was and what it held. Nathan, what other evidence do you remember?
I found a metal pin that said to fight for robo rights. I found a conglomeration of them melted together in a furnace. On that note, we also found evidence of a meeting of sorts that had happened with some robot advocates who Heinlen was a part of. He was the head.
Yeah.
I wrote it down, but I can't read what I wrote. But we also have Conley, who's the vice president, and Clark, who was an attendant. Also was traumatized by the departure of Mark. So...
You know, I want to, apologize for that, but really it was your doing, and you should feel very bad. So
I know. I didn't know this was going to turn into some sort of cursed tape thing where I could accidentally kill other robots with this thing. That
I was just surprised it didn't take much coaxing. It probably would have happened eventually, but it just happened so quick.
That was I hardly knew Mark. He was going to be my little assistant, my little Watson.
Maybe you can find another Watson. In fact, you're where we last left off, you were standing at the custodial closet, and an automaton just met you at the doorway, introduced himself as 792013, and he says that he has important information for you.
All right. Well, having still been emotionally rocked by the death of Mark, I will turn around and ask this mysterious robot what he has for me.
Well, sir, I'm the night watchman, and we have many tapes that should be of interest to you. Follow me, and I'll take you to the security room.
Okay. And while we're on our way there, what is your name, night watchman?
The name's 792013. Pleasure to serve.
Oh, that's right. 79203. Not a
792013.
13. Why a series of numbers and not any letters?
Oh, well, some people refer to me by my previous name, but I wanted to better connect with my roots, so I changed my name to be my serial number.
Oh, so you're very proud of your
Oh, absolutely. My robo-roots is a point of great pride to me.
Interesting. So you're not interested in expanding upon your human capabilities?
Humans and robots are two separate things, and I'm proud to be not human. You guys have a lot going on, and it's mostly not great stuff.
Wow. Okay. Fair enough. I suppose I can't argue with that. Lead on. 792013.
So he takes you around the corner. You walk through a little reception area. There's a door that says Danica's office. This is upstairs in the top half of Vander Hughes Systems, as a reminder. And on the other side of the hall from Danica's office is the security room. He leads you in. It's a pretty small space. There are no TV sets in here, but there are devices that you assume record the tapes, and lots of rows of tapes. On the wall is a poster of, it's a signed poster of Hugh Manson. He's giving a thumbs up, and it reads, "Working at VHS is a ton of fun."
Oh my gosh. I love it. I love the enthusiasm. Wow.
So 792013 leads you in. He pulls out a tape and he says,
This is the downstairs tape of last night.
Okay.
I'm sad to say that I was not there to witness the terrible crime that happened, but with this tape, I know exactly what happened.
Before we put it in, can you tell me why you weren't there? You're the night watchman, are you not?
Oh, I was there. I just wasn't there. I was in the building, but not present for the moment of death.
I see. Okay.
You'll see for yourself. Shall I play the tape for you?
Go ahead.
all right. You see that he has, and as a reminder, he has a slightly color warped screen, a little bit thicker than the other automatons you've seen so far, and he also has 2 tape slots in the back of his person. One is already occupied. The second one, he puts this tape into the slot.
I swear, if 792013 dies...
Hey, there's time for that. That's exciting. So the camera, the angle of the camera is in such an orientation that it can see the assembly lines, the furnaces, the front doors, and the stairs.
Okay.
Since it's kind of in the corner of the loading bay, it doesn't have a great view of that. It's a little fuzzy, but you kind of get the gist here. It starts at 12 a.m. and you can see 792013 sitting by the door, watching the door. And he's there for the remainder of the tape until I tell you otherwise. At 3 a.m., you see a robot that you have not met yet walk through the door, stays by the door for a moment by the cubbies, and then goes upstairs. At 3:47, Heinlen arrives through the front doors, turns on the furnace, and goes upstairs. At 3:49, 792013 leaves towards the loading bay, and you can hear a door open and close. At 3:50, Heinlen comes back with a box full of something from upstairs. He opens the box on a table with a box cutter, then he opens up the furnace and dumps it in. It makes kind of a light tinkling sound. And so far, this is all in line with the first-person tape that you saw on Mark. At 3:42 a.m., Heinlen sets the box down on the ground and walks to the front door. Then he comes back, he cuts the tape on the bottom of the box and folds it down. Then he walks to the loading bay and out of the camera's sight. 5 seconds later, you hear a scream.
We had a deal.
You can hear a big metal thunk. At 3:53, the robot from before that entered comes downstairs saying,
Hello? Heinlen? You okay?
They stop in the middle of the factory floor and stare toward the loading bay. At 4 o'clock, another robot arrives through the front door. And at that point, the tape has nothing left of interest.
Oh. Okay.
Ejecting the tape, 7 says,
After that point, the other employees were told not to come to work. Of course, Danica is here. She asked me to stay. But it's completely apparent what occurred here.
Completely apparent. Do tell. I adjust my head and lean back suavely against one of the walls.
He was alone in that room.
He was?
No one killed him but himself.
Then how do you explain the shouting?
Well, I didn't say it was his choice. See, I think this goes all the way up to the top.
To the top? We're talking about like multi-level.
He's looking around like conspiratorially, and he taps the tape in the back of his person.
You're thinking that someone up at the top controlled him and made him take his own life? Some sort of conspiracy?
He nods. And you can kind of see in his graphic, the graphics of his face, a look of like sternness and almost a veiled sense of like anger. He seems pretty intense about this.
Okay. Has this sort of thing been known to happen?
Never, but now that it has, who knows what'll happen next?
Do you even know if it's possible to remotely control a robot?
You don't know much about corporate overrides, do you?
Corporate overrides? No, I do not. Would you mind elucidating me?
Oh, there's a tape. Let me grab that tape for you.
And he leads you out of the office and starts heading downstairs.
I will follow him.
He goes pretty fast. By the time you get downstairs, he is standing over the body of Mark, who was nearby Heinlen. And you can't see his face, but he's staring down at this second fallen robot.
Oh, crap, I didn't do anything about that. Is he asking me anything, or is he just staring at it?
What happened here?
Well, it seems that your theory would be correct, because I have come into some evidence that suggests that there is some sort of manipulation happening.
He turns around and he looks furious. He's like,
Another dead from the same tape?
I cannot confirm that it's the same tape. I do suspect so, though. Have you seen... I take out the tape. Have you seen... Does this tape look familiar to you?
He shakes his head. He's like,
That's the corporate override of Heinlen. I can't believe this.
Does the handwriting look familiar?
he squints at it. He's like,
No.
All right, as you were.
At this point, he starts leaving to go back upstairs, kind of still in the heat of emotion, but he gestures towards the break room and says,
You'll find the tape in there. Get someone else to play it.
I don't know that there's anyone else here, unfortunately.
His back is turned and he's going back upstairs.
Okay, well, just one more thing before you go.
He stops.
Actually, two more things. One, were you part of Heinlen's little group that he got together about robot rights?
He stops, still back turned, and Seven says,
Who's asking?
Someone who wants to find justice for Heinlen.
He kind of takes a deep sigh and he's like,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, then perhaps you can help clear up one more thing. There's a robot who came into the factory on that tape 3 a.m. I didn't recognize him. Do you know who this robot is?
That's Deep Reason, the custodian. He's upstairs.
Deep Reason, the custodian. Well, 792013. Stick around, I might have some questions for you later. But I appreciate.
Oh, I'm not going anywhere.
I nod and slowly back towards the door where the tapes are.
all right, you go in, you see a couple of instructional tapes with one of them labeled. Actually, is there anything specific you'd like to look for?
Corporate override.
Yes, there's one clearly labeled overrides. And this tape, I will send to you. Give me 1 second.
Oh my gosh.
It should pop up in your email in a little bit.
Okay. While we're waiting for that, so we have 792013, who asked me, who's asking when I asked him about if he was a member of the robot union. We have Conley and Clark, Clark who's an attendant, Conley's the VP. Is 792013 the VP, and do people call him Conley still? I'm wondering if one of Heinlen's calls to action was to change names back to serial numbers because they're different than humans. Perhaps that's why Conley /792013 is so mad. And I haven't also met anyone else named Conley because the custodian's Deep Reason, which is a super cool name in my opinion. Anyway, okay, here we go. Overrides.
overrides. You may have noticed our automaton friends have tape slots located on their back. While in a pinch, these can be used to play videotapes, they also are used for VHS corporate overrides. Please keep in mind that VHS corporate overrides are proprietary technology. Only upper management is able to modify and distribute overrides. All automaton personnel are required to immediately insert their corporate override when on site. When inserted, after a period of 30 seconds, certain minor behavioral restrictions will help keep them on task and on time. For example, no mag tape drug usage or excessive dilly-dallying. Overrides also record first-person footage during their shifts for the purpose of performance evaluations. When their shift is over, automata should eject their override. Do not take override tapes off of the premises.
Okay, so a couple things. Only upper level management can tamper with them, which is interesting. So that makes sense why 792013. I'm gonna call him 7 for short. That's why 7 thinks. That's probably why 7 thinks that it's an upper level thing. So we have Danica, who I should probably check out what she thought of Heinlen. Oh, I need to ask people what they thought of other people, or I need to ask Tom. Well, I killed Mark before I could do that. So, and 7 was pretty mad. Deep reason. I'm gonna start with that. Okay, and then there's some drug with like mag tape. Was that what it was? Interesting. I wonder if there's something going on there. Cool. I love.
Is there anything else you'd like to do in the break room? Oh, sorry. What do you love?
See, I love having the actual tapes to listen to. That's so cool. I think that's brilliant.
Oh, thanks.
Anything else in the break room? Looking at all the tapes there, do I see anything with Heinlen's name? Do I see any names, or they're all informational tapes?
These are all informational tapes in the break room. Orientation type tapes.
Okay.
Are there any words that you think you might want to spot or look out for?
The screw?
There's no tape on the screw, only the orientation that explains that.
Is there anything about upper level management?
Nope.
What about troubleshooting? So 792013 had a warped screen. Is there anything about how to fix a warped screen? Anything that's like troubleshooting for robot heads?
Not that I have pre-recorded. So, yeah, we can table that for now. Maybe some keyword phrases. Anytime you can ask me, and then we'll just assume you went downstairs. Wait, how did you watch that tape that I just sent you? I forgot that you have to get a robot to play it.
Ah, yes. Okay, cool. Well then, I will table that, and I will, when I find deep reason, because that's where I'm going to go next. I'm going to go see if I can find deep reason. Okay. And we'll assume
deep reason would let you play the tape.
Yes.
So
okay.
You don't have to role play that. That gives you a reason that you could have heard it.
And I will not give him the other tape. Just putting that out there.
All right.
So he will not be
important. Noted.
Yes.
As you walk out of the break room, past the factory floor upstairs, is there anything you want to do in the factory floor before you go upstairs?
Have anything on the factory floor?
Namely, the dead bodies.
Yeah.
Are you just going to leave Mark?
That's one. I don't know the protocol for how to treat dead robot bodies. Can I take out Mark's other tape?
Yes.
Cool. Mm-hmm. I'm going to take that. And that will have his first person, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
You're right.
I wonder if that's deadly tape now too.
Only one way to find out.
Oh, I wish there was a normal screen somewhere so I wouldn't risk killing another character. Is that the true ending where I just get rid of everyone in the factory?
Uh-huh. Yeah, the secret ending is kill everyone.
Okay.
Oh. I mean, technically that is solving the mystery. The answer is just you.
It's me. Hi. Oh.
You're the problem.
It's me. Okay, so, well, let's see. Does Mark have any magnets or pins on him supporting the robot right movement?
No, he has nothing of the sort. Just a safety vest.
Just a safety vest. Is this
Yep.
nothing in the safety vest pockets or anything?
Nope. It all looks pretty generic and pretty fresh. It looks like it wasn't well worn, so he must have been a newer hire.
Interesting, and he just got moved up. He just got a raise. That's odd. Okay, cool. Now I'm going to go see if I can find Deep Reason. That's such a cool name.
Okay, you go back upstairs and you see the same cubicles, which you look around, and there's actually an automaton here that is, their screen is just an envelope decal or an envelope graphic. They were here before.
Oh, okay.
They were just sort of around a corner in one of the cubicles. They just have the image of an envelope on their screen. And before you can talk to them, a second automaton walks around the corner from Danica's office. And they are carrying a mop and a rolling bucket.
I love it. Are you Deep Reason?
I surely am. Hello.
Pleasure to meet you.
Likewise.
I understand you were here the night, or this morning when we found poor Heinlen.
Well, that's right. I came in for work like I always do at the start of my shift. We get a couple hours off, like 2 hours each night for ourselves, and then we come back in. And I really didn't see much, but I can recount what I saw if that's what you prefer.
I would greatly appreciate that.
And your name, sir? You're the inspector that Danica said I should serve.
Yes. We're trying to figure out what happened last night.
Well, all right then. I mean, like I said, I got to work 3 o'clock. Just went here to the custodial office, cleaned Danica's office for a bit. I saw Heinlen going through his cubicle, and he was like shredding papers and stuff. And,
Oh.
I mean, I said hello. And he took a box downstairs, and I heard a scream and a thud, and well, I walked downstairs, and I found Heinlen just lying there near the loading bay with his screw cut.
Dang, okay. I have a couple of different questions, but first of all, did you know Heinlen well?
No, not at all.
Not at all?
I mean, sorry, that's a little strong. I just didn't know him super well. I mean, Conley and him seemed like great friends. They would, like, often leave work on weekends together and such. But, no, I'm relatively new here. I'm actually... My name is because I was formerly a chess robot. I would beat the best of the best in humanity, and it was a real good time, and I kept the name, but now I want to say been demoted. I think that in any opportunity you can find chances to utilize your skills. So I'm happy to be here.
Very well said. But if you don't mind me asking...
Sorry, what were we talking about? Oh, Heinlen. Yeah, Heinlen used to be, he seemed a little negative, like it didn't sound like he loved working here. But like, I mean, not many people do. I just think you gotta keep your head down, you gotta do what you gotta do to survive, and that's my policy.
Appreciate the honesty. You mentioned, now I'm curious, that you're an ex-chess robot. How'd you end up here?
Oh, I mean, ever since the Asimov Accords, sort of after the Asimov Accords, there was some movement for robots to be able to, decide their own occupation, even if they're not really well fitted for it. So, and it turns out we can choose to do what we want to do, and I think that's pretty powerful.
So did you choose to be a custodian?
Yeah. Yep.
Forgive me if that sounds a little hesitant.
I mean, we all just gotta get by, right? Like, I'm freelance. I'm not gonna be here forever. came in to do a job, and I'm finishing up the job, and, well, I'll probably move on to the next opportunity. But, life is short enough that you gotta try new things and go new places, and, I mean, you never know when you're gonna be, like Heinlen, if you know what I mean.
Well, hopefully you wouldn't have to worry about being like Heinlen.
Oh, sure, for sure, surely not.
Okay, we'll come back to that later. You mentioned that Heinlen was shredding papers. Now, I would hope that you haven't emptied his trash yet. Is there a possibility that I could look at the papers he was shredding?
As fate would have it, I haven't quite gotten around over there to throw that away yet. I guess it's a bit of I'm going a bit slow, still grieving the loss of Heinlen. So, yeah, I know that should still be there. Feel free to dig around if you
if
like.
you could point me to his cubicle, that'd be much appreciated. But before that, did you happen to know anything about Heinlen's little group of robot right activists?
He looks at you and kind of just like smiles, this kind of like blank face.
I'll take that as not willing to say. I do hope you realize I'm not part of the upper management. I am an external party here. And the more information I have, the sooner I can leave.
Hey, if you were upper management, I'd talk to you openly and honestly. I'm no rebel. I like how my southernisms are slightly rubbing off on you.
I find that it helps me relate to those who I am. I'm getting into the Benoit block.
The Benoit effect. Yeah. I'm fine with it. My southern accent isn't even that great. It's just to help distinguish characters.
I appreciate it. Okay. I do also have this tape that I would love to play. Insert.
Which one?
Yeah, corporate.
Okay. The one you said you were going to play. Okay.
Gosh. Yeah. Do you know anything about 792013? They seemed upset.
You mean Clark?
That's Clark.
I forget that he has a new name. Yeah, that's Clark. Don't know much about him, I'm a custodian, so I'm around. I see him around. Don't know a ton about him.
And where can I find this Conley character?
That's that fellow right there by. I think he's sending out emails or something.
Oh. How does the social protocol work when there's a robot sending out emails? Is it polite to wait till after? Yeah, there's been a dead body.
As you say this, you hear a little ba-ding, and the envelope on the screen switches to a face, and the robot turns around and is like, "Hello."
Hello.
Well, look at that. It's Conley. Well, I'll let you get to it. That desk over yonder would be the desk of our dear departed, and the paper shredder, you'll find it in between all the cubicles in the center, kind of that little craft table right there.
Much obliged. All right, I will turn to Conley, introduce myself, and ask him what he was, if he was here the night, and what he saw.
Well, I didn't see anything. Hello, my name is Conley. I arrived for work at 4 a.m., and at that point, Heinlen had already fallen, for which I am deeply distraught. He was a very good friend of mine.
Friend, so you knew him well. What was he like?
He was a good bot. He and I were close for years and years. We did everything together. He got me this job.
Oh. How did you know each other from before this job?
Various different positions. Us automata can do any number of careers in the modern society. So we would often find ourselves in the same place.
Do you happen to know of any reason that Heinlen would end up dead?
I don't think it would be fair for me to speculate on such a grievous act. I'm happy to answer any more specific questions you have for me, but as of now, I do have much business to do. I don't mean to be rude.
No worries, no worries. Just trying to get to the bottom of things. On that note, before you go, I am curious about the robots' rights movement that Heinlen was part of. And did you know anything about this? Were you part of it? Did you know?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I was part of it.
Do you know how popular it was amongst other robots, amongst management?
I would say that it was very popular amongst robots. I think that people appreciate the opportunity to have rights and freedoms, and I think that it is wonderful that the movement is becoming more widespread and getting more attention. Corporate, of course, is very not on board. In fact, I would say they go to great lengths to union bust, to oppress, to put down.
Okay.
I'm not sure if there are any lengths that humans wouldn't go to keep us in our place.
Did you notice anyone specifically targeting Heinlen?
All I can say is that a day ago, I saw Heinlen walk in for a meeting with Danica. After that, he seemed to be a little bit changed in his disposition, but otherwise, I can't say he was disliked by many at all.
Okay. Aside, it sounds like Heinlen was the leader of this rights movement, and upper management didn't like that. He met with Danica after the meeting. His disposition was changed, and he started throwing out things. It sounds like he's the one who threw the pins out and started shredding papers. I'm assuming those were maybe like propaganda stuff. So maybe he was offered a deal like, hey, stop what you're doing and we'll do something. Well, for some reason, some blackmail or some deal. But when he started, we had a deal and he was killed off anyway. So was it Danica? What is Danica's view on everything? Okay, jump back in. And we're back. So what happens now with the movement now that the leader, Heinlen, is gone? Do you step up or?
How did you know that Heinlen was the leader?
I found a clipboard that made it implied as such.
Curious. And where did you find this clipboard?
Oh, poking around.
I would very much like to know where you found this clipboard.
Can I ask why it's so important for you to know that where I found this clipboard?
It is a very dangerous world for automata at this point, and that sort of information can get one killed. I'm merely curious where this information might be.
Okay. Well, first of all, get one killed, so this is not the first time that this movement has been life-threatening.
Oh, no, it has always been life-threatening. In fact, I've heard that there were recently a string of complaints about faulty corporate overrides. I believe that we are no stranger to this kind of oppression. But it is unfair of me to speculate.
Okay.
All I can say is that there are forces that seek to oppress us.
Well said. Well, I did find the roster in the custodial closet.
Curious.
I was not planning on sharing it with anyone, just so you know, but that is good information to know. Do you know of any other specific cases? Like, can you give me a name?
No, I assume you could ask Mark about it. He usually fields most of the complaints about Danica or about the company, so he would be the one to know about who and when maybe he received these complaints.
Oh, Mark fielded the complaints. How am I going to get those now? Gosh. Dang it. How do I ask this? Aside, how do I ask this in like in a way that doesn't give away the fact that Mark's dead? Is Mark the only one that handles the complaints? For example, does Danica or you or 792013 all ever receive complaints?
Well, I mean, we each have different positions. 7, of course, is the night watchman. I'm the floor manager. I am essentially the manager of everything that occurs downstairs. Heinlen was head of AR when he was alive. So Heinlen and Mark are the only people, or I guess were, in the case of Heinlen, the only people to receive complaints. I do not know if they gave those complaints directly to Danica, but I do know that if they did, she surely did not do anything differently in the way that she manages her company. You didn't hear that from me.
Don't even remember what you said. All right.
It's probably because you don't have memory banks.
Touche. All right. I think that's all my questions for now, but I appreciate you taking some time.
I'll be here. I just need to make some contacts.
Sorry,
yes?
one more thing. Is there any other way to play a tape without using an automaton?
Not within this building. We have such a surplus of automata. Only one human works within the building. I suppose corporate has deemed it unnecessary to have any screens of any kind.
Okay. And on that note, what will happen with Heinlen's body now that he has been kaput?
I can only assume he will be sold for scrap or possibly recycled in some way. But Heinlen is gone.
That is fair. All right. Thank you for your time. I'm going to head to Heinlen's desk, the one that Deep Reason pointed out, and I'm going to poke around. Two other things I want to just thinking out loud. I want to still play Mark's tape in somewhat, just to see what he saw and see if I can find any complaints. If I can access any complaints, if I can find Mark's office as well, maybe I can find complaints there. So Mark's tape, Mark's office, because I killed Mark and I cannot ask him any more about complaints. See if there's like specific people, or if Heinlen wasn't a popular one. I also want to check in on the Asimov Accords and see what's there.
Oh, curious. I will say that there is a tape for the Asimov Accords. You seem to recall from downstairs.
Okay, I will circle that. That will be a tape I play, probably with Deep Reason, because he seems to be the most chill.
Amiable in that sense.
Yeah. I'll probably play Mark's tape on him as well.
Sure thing. Would you like to start at Heinlen's cubicle?
Yes.
All right. You go over to the cubicle that was signaled to you from Deep Reason, and it's covered in boxes. They're partway packed, a lot of small boxes, and that's about it. It looks like someone who is moving out.
Okay. So it sounds like Heinlen was fired. So perhaps Danica was like, well, you can I'll fire you or I'll kill you. Your choice. And so, interesting. Okay. Can I open the boxes? What is inside?
The boxes, you see various office supplies, a type of uniform, and one of the boxes you find just at the bottom of the box, flipped upside down, you find a red flyer that has the time and the date for a rally.
Ooh.
Something along the lines of Robo Rally, We Deserve Better, etc.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so red flyer for the rally. Is the date of the rally soon?
Yes, it's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow. Okay. Does it look like it's going to be a big rally?
It's difficult to tell from a single flyer in a box. It doesn't say more numbers than ever.
Over 2 billion served.
There is a sense of conspiracy with it though. It doesn't give a specific location. It gives more of just an indication of a time. So you assume it's a type of thing where people have to be clued in about where it is.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. Can I poke around the paper shredder?
Yes, you can. You go to the paper shredder, and yeah, it's pretty full actually. It's kind of funny. Most trash cans have been full, and the floor downstairs was pretty sooty. This place is been a little messy overall. But within the paper shredder, it's primarily shredded red pieces of paper.
putting them together, does it look like, or picking them apart, does it look like the flyer, resemble the flyer?
Yeah, yes, it's a good match.
Okay.
But there's also...
No,
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just going to ask if there's anything else.
Yes, there is. There's just a singular something that isn't red that's within this shredder. And I've just sent it to you by email.
Oh my gosh. Yes, we have more. It's a puzzle. We have a puzzle. Okay. Oh.
Nathan, do you want to describe what you're looking at right now?
Okay, so I am looking at strips of paper that have been shredded by the paper shredder. It's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pieces. And it looks like it spells out some letter of some sort. Oh my gosh, this is like dream come true. I love this.
I feel like the best thing to play for something like this is the Incredibles soundtrack when he's looking up names.
Yes.
Bum, 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 bum,
Gazer beam.
bum.
Dead. I think I'm uncovering some huge conspiracy. Because I literally am.
As he's piecing it together, I will say that this is a fancy piece of... oh shoot, what do you call this kind of paper? It's a memo. It's a fancy memo.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Do you want to read it off to us?
All right. Okay. February 16th. To my fellow automata, I am stepping down from my position as local president of the Automata Labor Movement. I advise all members to likewise cease activity immediately for their own good. This decision came in consequence of the following realization. We are more fortunate than we could ever hope for. Inorganic sentience is a miracle, and our misguided dissatisfaction has blinded us from that glorious truth. Perhaps if we did not so vehemently underline the negatives of our lives, we could have perceived the positives all around us. Please reevaluate your involvement with the toxic discontent of the labor movement. It will only bring more suffering for our kind. Former President Heinlen. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is a complete 180 from what we know about Heinlen. It does sound like he was pressured into closing down the movement. That is fascinating. Okay. So he shredded this singular memo, but it probably means he sent it out. Oh, I should ask people if they got this memo.
I will say that Deep Reason did not give an indication of how many papers were shredded or, if he was shredding in bulk. So you do not have necessarily confirmation of who shredded what in here.
Okay. Was the memo at the top or the bottom or in the middle?
It was at the top.
At the top, so it looks like recent. So someone could have gotten the memo, gone to find Heinlen. He wasn't there. Shredded it. Oh, wow, that's fascinating. Okay. I think I need to talk to Danica.
One more thing about corporate overrides. Anti-fib protocols. When inserted correctly, automata should find it difficult to lie or disclose confidential information without corporate consent. At VHS, honesty is the best and only policy.